if I've seen my father when I was growing up and him taking me to soccer, whatever sport that I was interested in, it would have shaped me differently.
And like when I'm saying, I'm not able to provide. What else can I do? But is doing that then now, substituting the one that I'm not able to do. Then go, what message are we sending to females and women and paper mama baby?
Also, I reflected on the things that I didn't do right on my previous relationship. It was not about just the other person, but about me also. Yeah. So I understood that. So I looked at that and say, okay, this is what I want. Yeah, well, this is what I did wrong. This is what I want to improve on.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Inner Gent. Let's clap it up, gents. The Inner Gent. Are we deciding?
Quick check-in, Yabo. How are you guys feeling? How has the week been? Highlights of the week, challenges of the week, just before we, dive into the conversation, whatever the conversation is today. But just to check in, about how are you chance feeling?
Nice. Take it over, my guy.
Okay, hey, Damsiana. I don't know, man. Because he has gone this, I am also thinking, but like, how am I feeling today? Like, really, I think it's almost similar to a feeling overlook.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Now, anxious and at the same time you're excited. That anxiousness, you nervous because you don't know. I think it's crazy even to think of the idea about the fear of the unknown. I don't tell me about this fucking fear but I think I'm in between that and in between being excited and being anxious at the same time. I don't know if that's a good feeling, but I think it's a feeling I think I've been in for the past few hours. Yeah, but my week was hectic. My week was busy. I think it was productive. Yeah, I think it was productive, and I'm excited for today, man.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Yeah, for me, I think most probably the feeling would be the same as you, bro, because it's just the anticipation for me, bro, because we've been talking about this thing and having to actualize it and have it to see it into life now. It's another thing, but also the anxiety doesn't go away because I'm also thinking about the technical stuff. Yeah, but like, hey, okay, after this, how then do we move forward? But like I'm enjoying the moment, and I feel like, yeah, man, like we've came a long way, and for it to actually really happen, it means a lot, yeah, bro. And then my week has been up and down, bro. But like I think moments like these, then they kind of change everything. Yeah, well, they kind of change everything. But other than that, I'm glad to be alive, man. I'm glad to have people that matter around me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, thanks, Machita. For me, anxiousness, obviously, but because it's not the same when we are just chilling without everything that's around now and having a chat and, now having to share whatever you are talking about with everyone. But yeah, there's that anxiousness because of that. But other than that, just reflecting on my week, I always say this, that my Mondays are always terrible for me. I never really start Mondays, in a good note. But just, my week has been, not good not say at all, personally, because I have some things that I'm going through regarding my daughter and, trying to understand or sort out certain things, more especially, with having, a daughter with someone that you're no longer together with. There are always those challenges that you always need to face. So I've been trying to, sort of sort izinto ezinjalo yabo, but it's never easy. So there are moments where you feel like, okay, things are okay. There are times where you feel like, okay, hey, things now, are not so okay. So my week has been, iffy because of that. Yeah, and just to reflect and give a bit of context on why we are here. As you all know that, we've been having a lot of conversations and discussions, at work, on our way to work, on our way home, and sometimes over the phone, discussions that we felt, needed, to be shared with the wider audience. Obviously, things that, relate to us as men, to us as gents, our own experiences that we faced, which then led us to sort of deciding to idealize this whole thing, to make sure that, okay, how do we now create a platform where we can share these conversations with everyone, because they don't only affect us as individuals, but things and experiences that affect other people out there, more especially men, So we came up with this idea of a podcast where we felt like let's create a podcast so that we can create a platform, not just any platform, but a safe space where men can have honest, real conversations, conversations that can be uncomfortable sometimes, So we thought, okay, let us do this thing. So just to direct a question to you guys, reflecting on that, the reason why and the aim for the space, do you think, this space or any other space or platform similar to it is, will impact on your life positively as an individual or for any other men out there?
You want to take it?
Look, I think for me, when Adam Siana, it really speaks to one, the need for these kind of conversations. And if you speak to that, it's not only a case where we feel it would have a wider impact on people.
Yeah.
Sense of things, but I think just understanding the fact that conversations like these, the conversations exist time. And whatever we're going to be sharing up and whatever we aim to be sharing, those are conversations different settings for using them. Sometimes we have those as a playlist and match it.
Yeah.
Talks, those small conversations as to how do you feel, I don't think this is a way on a broader scale or the wider community. This is that are easy to share and conversate about.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean this is that don't affect us. It doesn't mean it's not on us or within ourselves as a machete.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to even the understanding is now with one another. Like I see this every time when it's a taxi and I'm like, if we get the front, even how they communicate back with the general people, you're like, okay, you don't see that sense of irrespect for one person to another. And that's I mean, now the seventh are loosely like respect, because I don't think that would be a case of respect.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a case of how they interact with one another.
Yeah.
And I think so Tina, because of those conversations as banazo separately, it makes us even communicate even publicly on a different sense and different from other people.
Yeah, I think like on a general, scale or level, like publicly there's there's lack of respect, whether it's male or female, you know. And I think maybe there is a reason for that, you know, because soloko noba uphi, yabo, even noba useteksini, use mall or anywhere else, you soloko, more especially as a machita, awufuna uqhelwa. Yabo, you would always have that defense mechanism, yabo, whenever someone asks you something, yabo, or someone is asking to pass, yabo, there's always that sort of, you know, defense mechanism, yabo, that just kicks in, yabo. So I think it's respect, yeah, because even when we are taught respect, you know, it's a home thing first, yabo. Then maybe you can be taught about, okay, you need to respect umama next door on. But iphelela in your immediate environment. It doesn't really go beyond and extend to ezinye indawo, yabo, to a wider audience. So I kind of agree with you, yabo, in that sense, yabo. So what do you think wena Zulu? Like, as a space in fact, sizasinceda njani as amajita to actually ubone?
I think, hey bro, like these spaces already exist, right? And I think at most times it's a relatability thing. Like for instance, a person that knows me from a New Cross have a certain idea about me, like just them seeing me in the streets, they have a certain idea and understanding of what I do and who I am. But when they get to hear that I speak the same language as them, then the shifts happen. Because now you're like, say, so also this guy can relate, or also this guy went through these things as me, you feel me? So then the conversation becomes broader, because now, hence also I was saying, but like when we're conceptualizing this thing, I'm like, it's very important that we involve everyone, but like we can't really be certain that everyone is gonna be catered for. Yeah, but it's what you say and how you say it and who's listening at that time. Because you capturing someone, it might be someone who could be troll, but just because they know you, but like we like respectful, like us, they are like say. Also, you also have a baby mama drama. But like we don't see that in you because of how you hold yourself. So now then the conversation shifts based off those things that you can say this, but like if ithethwa nguViyo or ithethwa nguSiv, then it hits different, because the kind of understanding and relationship that I have with them, it's a different thing. Yeah, because also our professions may also have a huge influence, mainly because a person knows you from this space only, and then now when it happens that, oh, you are relatable, man, like you can speak about these things, or you also experience these things as well. So it's just gonna add, man, and it's also gonna elevate a lot of men and women and kids. Because I was also listening with the respect thing, and I liked when you touched on the fact that respect, you only know respect in the spaces that you were taught in. Yeah, I understand. Because when then you go outside, you're like, this is not my mom. This is not my brother. So how can I have a respect for this person? Even if it's not in the element of disrespecting them, but like, you're like, I don't owe you that.
Don't say need.
Yeah, I don't owe you that, so I'm not gonna show that to you. So yeah, I feel like this space is gonna, more than impacting other people, gents, it's gonna do a lot for us. Yeah, bro, and with the work that we're doing, that's one of the things that I cherish the most, or I appreciate the most, is that with anything and everything, you always look at yourself and be like, ish, yeah, I've came a long way, hey?
Exactly, Mfethu. I was saying this to my girlfriend the other day. I was listening to a podcast, yabo. So there was a sort of a dialogue, yabo. There was a sort of a dialogue, yabo. these guys are doing a podcast, and then there's a group of guys, that were invited to, have this conversation, So this guy now, because also thethwa ngengxoxo zamajita, like things that are men related, So this guy, I don't know whether he was drunk or not, but this guy just raises up his hand, as if he wants to ask a question, and he says, he asked a question, but do women know that they are the problem? And the panel was confused. And I was like, hey, I'm confused. Where is this question coming from? So now I'm thinking, and then when it goes to what I always, talk about, when it comes to relationship and respect between the two people, So Umchita, do women know that they are a problem? And what do you mean, Chief? Like, what do you mean women do they know they are the problem? And I'm like, to my girlfriend, hey, this thing, I don't think he understands because now this woman that you feel like we problem, what does men's a problem? Is it not because of how you treat this person? Because there's umzekelo now, DT, yazi baby, I'm looking at you, and you do all these things that you do apparently, like you cook, you do stuff, you wash dishes, like you serve me, and I feel like you do these things, without even, thinking about them because of the way that I treat you. The way that I respect you, you feel like you can do all these things for me. Now that guy, he's probably not even treating his woman right, which is why now the woman is probably, acting or reacting in a way that he feels like, oh, okay, this woman is a problem.
But I also think maybe just to give the guy benefit of the doubt, just to think of maybe the idea of what a relationship should be within that relationship. Maybe the problem is maybe immediately not meeting up to those expectations. Because here's another thing with us men. We don't really have a platform right for us to have a conversation, a normal conversation, like a realistic conversation. And as a result, we don't say much. Guy has the idea, but this is how a relationship should be. My relationship should be. And yet maybe the minute, because I haven't on Facebook, I'm like, it was funny, but like it got me thinking. There was a picture of a female private part. I won't get explanation, but this is the clip, this is the thing. And they were trying to locate where each spot is. And now, the comments here is the crazy part, because on comment section, I'm out. They're like, after the whole science, that we need to maneuver around for us to make them happy, and still they want money after.
Crazy business.
But when I think about it, it's like probably those are things we don't really conversate about. How do I feel? Kalemba ulifuna imali. It's reasonable for ufuna imali. And it goes again to the military. I'm saying, when we cook imali, if we cook. Is there anything wrong? Is there something right? But again, understanding what you have a certain way and by default, I treat them the same way. So there might be two things. It might be the fact that maybe the guy is not doing enough as he should, but is there a conversation around that? Or maybe the guy just has expectations to what a relationship is to him, and do they conversate about his messenger? Because it seems as though a co-understanding between the two. Hence the guy sees Imed as a problem. Imed sees the guy as a problem. Relationship about that.
Hey, bro.
Do you think, Machita, like, our lack of I don't know whether lack is a good word to use, but do you think our lack of, having conversations that are meaningful, is probably there's a cause, or maybe it's because of how the society, sees us as men, or sort of dictates how we should be as men. Do you think there is a relation? Because I feel like there is a way that the society, sees us as men, and sort of say this is how men should be, and there is a lack of how we see us as men. Because there's a certain way that you see yourself as a man, but there is this societal, standard or perception of how a man should be, or how a man should behave. Because I feel like we conform a lot, on how the society wants us to be and views us to be, compared to how we sees us as men. And that can also sort of, makes us behave in a certain way that is not ourselves, because you want to meet whatever standard the society men should be at, in most aspects, like we are told, how to love, how to relationships, what is it that we need to do as men, in relationships, how to be parents, how to be fathers, we don't really be ourselves, basically. So do you think there is that kind of, relation on how we see ourselves?
I think, bro, like with everything that I've came to understand as a man, as a black man, to be specific, is that it's very important to have a reference, right? And also, that reference will then model the person that you become, right? So, firstly, you come from a home that is headed by a woman. Like for as long as I've lived, I've lived with my grandmother and my mother, and my cousins there and there. So, also them being men during that time, they were told how to be men by these ladies. So then the only thing that they would maybe get out of outside from other men, it would be negative things, or things that are not appreciated in-house. So then they become hooligans, or whatever the word that you can use, to the family, because now the women are not appreciating the kind of man that you're becoming because of the outside world. So I feel like if I've seen my father when I was growing up, and him taking me to soccer, whatever sport that I was interested in, it would have shaped me differently and seeing things differently. Because growing up, I always had this thing of my mother is my father. Based off the fact that she did everything, bro. She did everything. And only now, as a father, I understand the importance of having a father. Bro? So I feel like having a good reference of a person that you want to become, because these things we are taught. But there is an instinct, yes. There is things by nature, yes. But the majority of the things that we know, we are taught. You are taught how to speak to adults. You are taught how to move around the house. You are taught how to a lot of things. And fortunate or unfortunate that these things that you are taught, it's things that you are taught by women. So then the people we model during that course of growing up and not being a fully functioning man, you are modeling an understanding of a woman, of how they want a man to be. So it's a really unfair exercise, mainly because we then don't have these fathers that we would have wished we had. Yeah, bo. And then it makes us to feel like, hey, man, like when then we get into the outside world and learn all these other things and then go back home, there is a less of appreciation. And then the only thing maybe we are useful in is providing and working, other than those aspects. Because also, when you know there is a certain understanding about you as a man in the house, you only then care to do those things. You sharing how you feel, how was your day, you don't, because you know that no one is gonna be interested in knowing takabani binjani mini yakho namhlanje, yabo. How are the kids, how are the kids, yabo. You become disconnected as well, because now you know, but hey, when I get there, no one is even gonna care how I feel, yabo. And do we fault those people? Because also you would find that also them, they didn't have those kind of fathers, bro. So it really becomes a tricky situation. But then again, looking at the brighter side of it, we are able to have these conversations because we were unfortunate. And we're in a position where we are all fathers and we want good for our kids. But another thing is that we are experiencing what our fathers were experiencing. You feel me? Yeah. But what I like and what I appreciate is that we don't want that. We make sure that we work against that because it's not progressive. Okay, I'm no longer with you, we're no longer dating, but let's make sure that my baby girl grows up and appreciate both of us. Mangathi mayehleli nawe, yeah, for the other guy, and then also when she's with me, then she also speaks ill, or I speak ill of the mother, yabo. So in all that, I'm also appreciating the men that we've became or we're becoming, because it's still like a journey, yeah.
No, I think just mhlambi, because obviously I've as a father, I think I've grown to understand quite a lot, and mostly in line with what you're saying, Michael. But I'm trying to think now of maybe someone ongekafiki this kind of level that I am in terms of understanding this whole structure. I'm trying to think, the only thing we know as maybe not the only thing, but I think the key thing we understand as being a man is being able to provide. And I think for some reason that model has been working in some way, because then what defines you within your family setting is you being able to provide. Tell me about that comes exactly from that, because it's existing but is non-existent. I think that it provides that more, which then begs the question, Yoba, can you be really fully invested in being a father, like being home and being realistic, being you, at the same time meeting up with the standards and the greater standards that you being able to provide? Like, now how do you maneuver the two at the same time? And I think for us as black men specifically, it makes sense to say, well, boy, you better choose. Do you want me to be your father and stay at home and be with you? Go to your soccer matches, go to your practices? Or do you want me to bring food on the table? Do both at the same time. Either I become your father, maybe I just become someone that needs to work. Because if I'm going to be a better father for you, then I need to be able to provide something for you. And I can't do that sitting at home. I can't do that while going and watching you. I think that's the general understanding we have. And now I want to pose a question on that, if that's okay, Tamsi. Like, really, as a man, is it a wrong thing to feel as though if you're able to provide both for your family, for your kid, isn't that enough to define you as a man?
I think it's also, I think that which is why I mentioned the individuality part, because there's society and what society is telling us or is saying, but then there's you, and probably your immediate family. You know, what's good for your family. You know, I think that can, sort of make you understand of whether, okay, am I playing my role as a man in this environment and with these people that I've, created a family with, So I think you can never, tick all the boxes when it comes to being a father, or this ideal, or idea of what it means to be a good father or a holistic man, to make an example. So there are a lot of things, which some of them you mentioned, which are good, for family and for kids. Because also as a kid, you need to be supported by your father. You would like your father to go and watch you play soccer. Also, it speaks on us as black people, and time. Do we have time for these things? Do we really have time for ezizinto, or do we okanye ixesha lethu silisebenzisa mostly when we need to go to work and come back? I've noticed this thing. I never really grew up with a father, right? But I've always noticed this thing that and I think it's something that also, sort of affected us as men growing up in terms of how we lead our families. Because I had a friend, I usually tell this story about a friend, but I think our fathers, we were so scared. I've noticed in families that whenever umntu ebizwa ngutatakhe, like uyothuka uba yo, noba ndenze ntoni endlini, you always scared, uba nexhala uba yo, ayiwanda ndenze ntoni, yo inoba ndizobethwa. And amatime umntu unesitulo sakhe endlini, uneplate yakhe, unecephe lakhe, unewe yakhe. Dare usebenzisa icephe likatime like kuzoshuba endlini. So amatime soloko kukho ubone la position yakhe uba yimboza yalapha endlini, and there's fear around that. And you grow up, you're seeing that, and you see that as something that is okay. Then you grow up with that. So you don't really have that, feminine touch, where you can be vulnerable, or just ask your kids, ubone izinto babe kunjani esikolweni and stuff. It's always when also naxa uyocela imali, you would go to mom, for anything. People wouldn't go to tata, because utata uhlala inyama, but that's also because of how amatime wethu treated ngayo emsebenzini, omnye umntu ubuye ediniwe. Also when you say uba une-homework okanye when you have an achievement, upasile esikolweni uthini, you would always be told. Also ke omama, they used to do that. You andiniwe mna wethu ndifuna ulala. You akhandiyeke ubone, there's no time viwe I'm trying to go kuloo nto leyo of ixesha, of which ke ngoku xa ungenaxesha you can't actually do all these other things that you feel like you are supposed to do as a time. So I don't think you can fully be this ideal man that is put out there okay, you need to do this and this and this and that. But at least if you are able, to do ezinto ezibalulekileyo, to provide, to make sure that at least you do stuff for your kids.
Something to say.
Oh, there's a question?
Okay. No, it's not a question.
It's a comment.
Yeah, no, the ums.
Okay.
Yeah, between when I know Toyota. No, it's a frequently so just be mindful.
We are listening, Chief. Chief, we are not cutting this. This is going to be part of it. Okay. Hey, Chief.
Just try and listen.
No, thank you.
I'm also thinking from what you're saying, I really want to understand, because I'm also thinking of someone that's not us, that don't have this conversation. Probably they don't know. Probably we behave in certain ways sometimes because from what Uzula said, This is what we've seen. This is what we've been taught.
Yeah.
We don't know what else can we do. I'm trying to think of the boxes you're mentioning, but you can never tick all the boxes. But are the boxes to tick? And if there are the boxes to tick, what are those boxes that makes you an ideal father, a whole father?
Yabona, viewers. Okay, let me speak about me and not speak generally. So as a father now, I've came to understand that, especially when you are no longer with a person, even when you are with at times, there's an idea that both of you have, but both of you don't share. Right? You can maybe sit down and talk about it, and this is how we want to raise our kid. But subconsciously, that person is thinking otherwise. Okay. So my experience was, I have certain things that I want to do for umntanami, but when I'm actually doing those things, it's questioned, and it then also creates some sort of friction and some sort of instability. Because now I have my own ideas of how I want to raise our kid, and we're not getting into a space where we agree. So then having to tick all the boxes, it's not possible. But it is doable in this sense. You communicate how you would like things to happen, and also your capacity as a man or as a father, right? Because I can't be expected to take my child to Churo where I'm earning like close to nothing, right? So does that make me less of a father? Does it make me not a father enough to my daughter? Or because this whole thing of me having to do izinto ezithile and you having to want izinto ezithile, it like for instance, buying clothing. You prefer Woolworths. Okay. And I say, my account is not set up for Woolworths. Mr. Price. I'm going to go Mr. Price, Ackermans. So I'm not taking away the fact that you can do that, but do it at your own capacity, right? And then I'm going to do my part ngendlela yami. Yabo? And then also, as long as we are not saying these things to umntana wethu, then the child will never feel, or they will never see that, no, but my father, when I'm with him, he doesn't do this, and my mother does this. My father does that when he's doing that, and he excels in that. And then when I'm with my mother does that, and she excels in that. So for me, my experience is like, I do what I can, and I do what I think is important, until then the child gets to an age where I sit down with them and then make them hear me out. Not even understand, hear me out. Because understanding is a choice as well. Yeah, but hear me out that this is the position that I'm in, and I'm able to do A and B. Maybe we're gonna do C when I'm at this position. Yeah, well?
Yeah. For me, viewers fail to. When you speak about when you ask a question of whether are there boxes to be ticked, well, I think there are. And I think also I would go to individuality now. You as an individual, you can set those boxes for yourself as an individual, similar to what Zulu is saying. But I think there are things now that I feel like even now, I'm able to provide izinto for my daughter, but there are things that I cannot provide ngemali, umzekelo, that I would like to do. I would like to wake up in the morning, and prepare my daughter for school and take her to school. That's the first thing that I feel like it's one of those boxes to be ticked. That would make me close to an ideal father. Close to an ideal father, but that thing I can't do. I'm mentioning that. I would like to also go pick up my daughter from school. Yeah, but I yearn for that feeling. Yeah, but that feeling of getting to my daughter's school and see my daughter coming out, her coming running to me and hugging me. Yeah, well, that's one thing I would like to do, but I can't. Yeah, well, because of time. I don't have time, but not because I don't want to have time. I want to, but most of the time I have is the one that I need to go to work so that I can be able to provide all the other things. Yeah, well. So just counting those two, Mnamfethu, they don't really make me this type of a father that I would like to be. But I'm trying. So I think the resounding thing here would be provision. Yeah, well, being able to provide as a man or as a father. Yeah, well, I think that would be the top. Yeah, but whether you are a father or you are not. Yeah, but because we have families, we have mothers. Yeah, well, and I think any Indo Zulu that makes maybe women to be sort of wanting all these other things that maybe we can't do is because as a man you need to be able to provide. Yeah, well, this other person doesn't think whether you are working or not. Yeah, well, they just want you to fulfill that top, box of you being able to provide. Yeah, well, so now I'm thinking, yeah, well, because as a man you need to be able to provide, right? So what about this man who can't provide coming imali? Is there any way that I can provide, or is there something I can do so that I can feel like a man? Yeah, well, feel like all the other men that are able to do all these things that I can't do now. Yeah, well, so how, does that make me a man enough, or does that not make me a man enough?
I think for him, it's a mental conversation, bro. It's a mental issue. And I'm using that word very loosely. I'm making it sound as if indeed I want to go right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, or what I'm getting to is like how your mind is shaped up. And again, it goes back to what we know, what we've been taught. And then I think now trying to understand Kwagwe's boxes that we're trying to mention.
Yeah.
You mastering one other box, what does it say about you being a father or an ideal father? Or is even the idea of an ideal father a thing? Like, is it really something that really exists? If it does, what is it? Because is it really possible to tick these boxes? If it's not, then is it possible to become an ideal father? Yeah. Because now I'm trying to think, I'm remembering a situation who Mama Bandwana asked me, like she called me at this point. I'm like, I was stressing because I'm like again, and I'm like, now whenever someone call away, automatically my mind shifted. Like,
Trauma, bro.
provision.
Trauma response.
I was like,
Trauma.
so now I'm in between answering the call and not answering it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know. Obviously,
You don't want to tell stories.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because now I'm going to feel less of a man if I come with a story. And surprising, she's not even calling for that. She was not even the one calling. The kids. They're like, Dada, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that made me think, like on the idea of being a father and maybe just being a better father, what that looks like. And I think for me, I've never had a father growing up. I only knew my father in 2018, which is kind of crazy for someone that is a father now, because then you try to maneuver around being raised by females, and that becomes an issue. Now, what I've always taught myself, I thought that an ideal father would be, is the exact opposite of what my father was.
Yeah.
But was it really being an ideal father? Because my idea of what my father did was not being present.
Yeah.
Right? And not providing for me.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, so if I have a relationship with my kids, I can call them, they can come visit me, and I can provide for them. Like, is that enough?
Yeah.
Is really enough?
Yeah.
That's basically it. My father didn't do that. Now, if I do that, do I become an ideal father? Right. I'm still in that question even at this point. Now we're discussing.
Yeah. The boxes,
I think I'm
yeah.
only ticking 2 of those boxes.
Yeah.
And what does it say about me?
Yeah.
Am I an ideal father?
Hey, bro.
What really makes an ideal father
Yeah.
an ideal father? How many boxes should you
You take, yeah.
if you master one and like when I'm not able to provide, what else can I do?
Yeah.
But is doing that then now substituting the one that I'm not able to do?
Yeah.
Because then go what message are we sending to females and women and baby mama baby? If I'm saying, okay, at least I won't be able to provide with money, at least I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like what are we saying? What message are we really saying? Are we saying, okay, you know what, when are you able to provide, then why not do that? I'm gonna make sure that I'm not but who buys? The lunches you understand? Who buys the uniform? So it's those small things which makes me think, can we really be ideal fathers? If we can,
How does it look like? Yeah. Hey, anyway, gents, we just dived into it. We didn't even introduce ourselves, and I'm thinking about it now. And welcome to the first ever episode of Inner Gent. Let's clap it up, gents. The inner gent. Are we deciding?
Less of something.
Hey, man. Or maybe you can help us at home. But as it stands, it's the inner chance, which kind of makes sense because you've already had the conversation. And I go by the name of Uhlumelo Zulu. Yeah, that's about it. And then the gents will introduce themselves, and then we're going to carry on with the conversation.
Hey, mna, I thought nizathi xa iqala lewe kubhalwe phaa xa ndiqala uthetha kuthiwa siya apha izantsi or whatever.
We're podcasting,
This introduction.
Chief, we're podcasting.
Stuff,
Let's do this
I'm
thing,
not
Chief.
good at that, but anyway, my name is Siyabonga Ndozini. Yeah, but I think you will get to know me as we chat, I don't have much to say about myself, but I feel like, I'm a good man. Yeah, I feel I'd like to see myself as a good man. I'd like to see myself as an ideal father or a father or whatever. But man, we thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you get to enjoy our chats. It's not scripted. We just sit down and having a conversation, man. Yeah.
Man. I really, Namzul, for some reason, I just went in.
Yeah. It be like that.
We've been having these conversations, and you don't even notice when it's time to be sharing it with the outer people.
For sure.
It really feels like our normal conversations.
Yeah.
I think that's why we just went for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. With that said, I'm Viwe. I know you're gonna get to know me. You're gonna see quite a lot of my face.
Yes, sir.
I'm also known to be very controversial, and this is just, just to learn, and I expand my brain capacity as much as I can. I also have to learn. I learn more when I ask questions.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm hearing quite a lot of those moving forward. I ask a lot of questions. This is just for you to know.
Yeah.
I felt like Uzulu sort of, I don't know whether he was ducking that question or not.
Nah, not even. Because the thing is, I'm just thinking about it, man. Like, what we're talking, and I'm like, it's getting deeper and deeper, you see. And I know sometimes such conversations can be very uncomfortable. So you need a little bit of, there and there, you feel me? But like, I also had a question, and the question is kind of controversial. Speaking of controversy, so I would like to know from you, gents, ideally, do you think not to put your baby mamas on spot, or yourselves on spot, but like, do you think you would have wanted better in terms of personality and how they are and how they were when the relationship was good. You get my question?
I do.
Mfethu, I think when you are in a relationship, you are a male and a female. Yeah, but you are Zulu, or this is Sia and this is the other person. Obviously, we are different. Well, there will be things that, from my side, I wouldn't be good at. And there would be things on her side that she wouldn't be good at. So, as much as, wanting it better, but I don't think it could have been any better as it was when things were good. And the fact that everything led up to this point where now we are no longer together. She's just my baby mama and I'm just a baby daddy. But anyway, I have an issue with this thing of baby mama. She's the mother of my daughter. I'd like to put it like that because I feel like there's always a perception of baby mama as being negative. When you say baby mama, there's also that thing of baby mama drama, When you get the minute you say baby mama, the new person is already So I feel like we need to shift from that, to say she's the mother of my child or the mother of my kids. But when you get into a relationship and you tell this person that, okay, I have a child or I have a daughter, and the other person will just say, oh, I don't want baby mama time. You see, there's always a negative thing about the other person. So I'm saying, Zulu, I wouldn't wish that time to be any better, because it was supposed to be like that. And I feel like the fact that we are separated, we were supposed to separate, we were going to separate anyway. In fact, I'm grateful for that, speaking from a personal experience, because I feel like I've grown, in terms of how I relationship, how I date, and also I think having that understanding, having that experience, sort of gave me another perspective, made me understand what I really want in a relationship. I saw things that I was not deserving, and I started looking at someone, or looking for someone that can actually, offer me these things that I felt like I lacked in the previous relationship. And also I went into this relationship that I am in right now with intentions. I was very intentional. I think I've said this to my girlfriend, that I knew the type of person that I want, and I knew what I want to do in this relationship. I knew about, okay, I want to go on dates, because there were things, now in my previous relationship, there were things that I was like, not because I didn't want to, but it never felt like, things that needs to happen, or things that mattered at that time. But now I see, okay, because in a relationship, when you start a relationship with someone, you're obviously excited, like uthando lubone luphezulu yonke le way niyalangazelelana, but there will come a time where there will be a sort of decline, because ngoku nikhumbula noko nifonela noko and you do all these things, abantu abatsha abathandana nayo, but how do you keep that in the same level, even though ixesha lihamba. So I had that understanding, and also I reflected on the things that I didn't do right on my previous relationship. It was not about just the other person, but about me also. So I understood that. So I looked at that and say, okay, this is what I want. This is what I did wrong. This is what I want to improve on. So I wouldn't say there are things I would change, or do better in my previous relationship because I'm no longer there right now. But having an understanding of what I can do right now to make this one work as it is working right now. Yeah.
But for you viewers, do you look at yourself and be like, "Ish, I lost a good one, eh?"
Hey, okay, yeah. I think we both lost good ones, man.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think I was damn good, bro. And I mean, she was not perfect.
Yeah.
I think ufika the point where you guys have a child. At this day and age, I don't think that happens by default. Especially with someone that's old enough. I mean, someone that's old enough knows when to go for contraceptives. They know when to, use protection. And the minute they feel that comfortable around you and, feel free to even having a child with you, I think that speaks to volume. It speaks to how they see you as a person. Right? And maybe probably the expectations thereof. I think that was the key thing.
Yeah.
It was two things, really. It was communication and expectation. I feel I had a lot of expectations, and those were based off what I've experienced before from previous relationships.
Yeah.
And she obviously had her own expectations. And again, I'm thinking at this point, assuming that would also be from a previous relationship.
No way.
And I think if we had that relationship at that time, had that understanding, both of us had enough chance to communicate, have those conversations, I think would have made what we had even better. Yeah, I wouldn't wish to, have it back again now. I think everything maybe that happens, maybe they happen for a reason.
For a reason, for sure.
But I wouldn't at any given point in time compare our relationship and the relationship we have with our kids. She's always made me feel like I'm the father of my kids. I've always felt that. I still do. I remember there was a time where I was unemployed, I think for about 6 months. Yeah, that was crazy for me because the only thing I was thinking about was provision. So I'm like,
Hey, bro.
Like I could feel it.
Yeah.
Dog. And with the idea now again of being a father, being something different from what my father was. Now at that point, I felt exactly
You're the same.
if a chance would be if it was not for Indlela, her treatment and how she appreciates me, I think I would have ran at that point. Because I felt useless, like, yo, bro, I know this is in. And somehow she would tell me the kids are not okay.
Yeah.
I know what that means.
Yeah.
To go to the
Hospital.
Did you see a dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And you know what that does to you as a guy?
Yeah, bro.
It destroys the confidence.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's nothing I can do. I remember there was a time where she was pregnant. During Algasha, she was pregnant. Ebusuku, bro. I think I'm past 12, past 1. Their phone, hey, she's not okay here.
Yeah.
Very quick, and I came, bro. I'm like, bro, it's 1:30 in the morning. I know you should be going to a hospital right now, but how?
Sure.
Oh, how? And now, automatically, her previous relationship, or just the idea of a guy she had before me, came, bro. Like, involuntarily, I was like, hey, Ubani had a car, bro. In fact, he had cars. Come on.
Damn,
This would be a
bro.
problem for him.
Wena ungumanyao.
Come on. What am I?
Sure.
Who am I? Yeah, bro. At that point, bro, I felt stupid. I felt useless, bro.
Not to disturb you, viewers, but sorry, but I want to understand because I think you're touching on that question I had now. For a man who can provide, probably who doesn't work, and you were in that position when at that time. So I just want to understand, how was communication during that time? Was it a communication thing of, okay, ngoku, I know you are in this situation, but andiphangeli ngoku. So sizokwenzani going forward. So how was communication during elaa xesha? I understand you probably felt less of a man during that period because you are not working and this person is in this situation that sometimes needs money that needs you to provide and step up as a man and also looking where she came from in terms of the previous relationship. So how was communication during that time, Faith?
Communication for me, I think for him, I couldn't. Right? I couldn't communicate that. And I think what spoke louder for me was, the kind of person I was at the time and maybe the kind of person I still am. She was more in love with me rather than what I could be able to provide. But obviously I didn't think that at the time. I only thought, what am I giving? Which then limits my conversation. Because now it's not easy for me to conversate because anything that I would be saying ain't provide you or that explains, I feel like I would be justifying the fact that I can't provide.
You can't provide,
You know what I mean? So for me, it felt like I couldn't communicate that because then I'm justifying me being a bad man or not being a good man. So I kept it to myself for the longest time. So communication, because of it, I think I learned the silence in terms of the communication because I assumed what she was thinking about me. Not really knowing what she was thinking, but I assumed what she would be thinking at the time. But obviously she would be thinking of, you could have made this a bit easy. And the crazy thing is she was also working at the time. I wasn't. And I forgot that, for a moment I forgot that actually she has not been working for some time before. And I've been working at
But that doesn't matter, bro. For you,
it didn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter because you are in this situation.
We are wired
right
different also.
Right now, okay.
As men, we are wired different, dog. Like, speaking on just what you just said now, the fact that you didn't even go as far as saying, but she was also in this situation and I was in a better situation. Like, with us, one thing that I've found common about men is that we get indebted to how people make us feel. Despite of how big or small it is, bro. Like, you get indebted to that, to the feeling. You get so in tune to that and you hoard that and you keep it. And even when the relationship is toxic, you're like, no, but this person was there when I didn't have blankets.
Remember the feeling.
You feel me? That's what, bro, that's what matters to you. This person, when I was in this situation, she was the one that said, I'm coming. And you probably pause. And the way that I said it, yeah. So we get so I don't want to use the word consume because it's something that you appreciate and it matters to you. And I think that's one thing that we shouldn't take away from us. But then also you have done a lot of things and you're not even thinking about that. You're like, hey man, I'm unable at this point and I still want to do something. It becomes, even outside of a relationship with the person that you're dating or you have dated, with your parents, like you've been providing throughout for them. You've been giving them money for months in, months out. But the minute you down and out, You're not like, hey, Ulit.
But I used to.
You kill yourself like I would rather eat nothing than to go back to my mother and ask. You see, so I don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse for us as men to have that. But like this is something that I've observed to a lot, because you would find even when you see your friend like being disrespected in a relationship, like, but Chief, why don't you dip? Yeah, and then the guy will be like, hey, my guy, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what this woman has done for me. And for a longest time, those are one of the things that made me to be to stay longer even in toxic relationships. You see, because I'm like, hey, gents, you don't know this woman was posting my clothes. No one is posting my clothes. She's the one.
Feel like I'm Chala.
You feel me? She's the one that was saying there is a certain DJ there. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna link you up with them. But like, just speaking on the question at hand, I feel like for me, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful, despite the differences and whatnot, because looking at other gents out there and what they go through, I think as much as I go through whatever I go through with her in terms of co-parenting, but like I feel like I'm in a privileged point, and I really don't want to take that away from the kind of person she is, because she's that person and the other person that then made the relationship not to work. But this then other person that is good and caring and nurturing, that's one thing that I appreciate. And I feel like even my mother, she's at the relief, because the cause that she's getting, it's not like, Nyanako didn't do this. She's getting like, no, mzugulana wako, she wants to speak to you. Or like, you get what I mean? Or you get what I mean? So for me, would I have wanted it any better? No. Because it happened the way it happened for a reason. And even with the trial and error and trying to really sit down and be like, we can. Yeah. Because also during her pregnancy, I was kind of doing a study or a research where each and every Uber that I get on, I would ask him, man, do you still with your no, not your baby mom. The mother of your kids. And the stories I would hear, bro. The stories I would hear, bro, like they devastating. And I would go back to her and be like, hey, I was like the driver that picked me up. This is what he said. Because also I'm preparing her for her to understand that when we get to this point where we don't get along because of this new thing that we have, having a child, we then need to tap back to that thing, Wuti. These things have been experienced before. And at least now we have a reference of people that didn't make it. Can we make it? Like, literally, that was my fight, bro. Can we make it?
And it worked.
It didn't. It didn't, because I'm out here. I'm out here. So it didn't, bro.
The only person I've heard at Teta London was my sister. My sister, she was speaking to one of Ayinto Mazana at Ehlala.
Yeah.
And now she's saying to her, because they're having a conversation, and this other woman, this other lady, she's thinking of giving birth, like she's getting pregnant for the guy. Just met the guy, and she's saying,
just met the guy.
Yeah, so like I feel like I could marry this guy and whatnot, and then she went on to explain how she was feeling about the guy and what the guy could provide and whatnot. And my sister was, never in your life do a mistake of having a child because another person wants the child. Especially if it's a man that wants that child. Because the thing is, and the craziest thing is, you will every day for the rest of your life be the mother of the child. It's not a guarantee. The guy might decide otherwise.
Yeah.
And the That changes nothing to you as a mother.
You're still gonna be the
You're still gonna
mother.
be the mother. But now, if you got into that situation to please the guy, then unfortunately for you, you're in deep shit. Because then now, you one-on-one with the child.
Yeah.
Bro.
You have to be a
Yeah,
parent.
it's like, yeah.
Yo.
So that still, yo, bro, that you know.
You see,
sink in, bro.
you see. Also, it then kind of answers the question of a moment. The feeling at that time, it made sense for her to have a child with this guy.
Yeah.
Does she know in the greater schemes of things that this guy is gonna take care of her and the child? Is this guy looking at long term with her? Okanye yena, she is in a position where she feels comfortable because of the experience at hand.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, this is my life, I'm done.
The guy can provide.
Yeah.
See, from what the guy has, maybe that's what.
Yeah.
It's like, he has a car, he has a house,
Bro.
he has a stable
Goes
job.
back to that, you being able to provide as a man. But I want us, before we wrap up, I want us to take it back. You mentioned something about feeling and feelings. And I think as human beings, we have feelings, yeah, but listening to your shared experiences, yeah, I think most of us, why is it hard for us as Amachita, as men, as gents, to express how we feel truly, to express how we truly feel about things, why is it so difficult, more especially if feelings that had to do with sad, because Tina, as soon as you feel that you can't provide, you sort of feel less of a man, worthless. So you also around the house, around even in the relationship, you feel like you don't have a say in certain things. If you feel like something shouldn't be done, just because you can't sort of provide for that thing to be done, or you can't buy certain things. You don't feel like you have a say in that, So why is it difficult for us, to express, how we truly feel, in a relationship? So why is it not even in relationships, just generally, even amongst ourselves as men? Why is it hard to express how we feel?
I think for me, Damsian, I'll speak for myself right now, and I think I might also be speaking for a lot of gentlemen out there. I think for Omla, it's really a case of what needs to be shared versus what's expected of you to say, or maybe what's gonna be accepted for instance, it for me as a guy, I think especially as a black guy, for me, one, to share about just something general besides the relationship, just to say, niggas, I'm scared. Or do you even tell my sister that if suddenly no one and someone is knocking at the door, and my subconscious is like, I'm dead afraid because I don't know if I am. But for some reason, me sharing that, I'm like, is that really acceptable, Ngoku? Because if I'm afraid, then who's gonna take care of what's happening? You know what I mean? I think so. It's those expectations, even on relationships, just to even share the idea that actually, I don't think I'm gonna be able to, take you out for the next 3 months because I don't have a proper job for that. You know what I mean? You're not able to share those things. I'd rather maybe cut off 80% of that and share it with just 20% because I don't want to feel that's not going to be acceptable. So I think it's that boundary. Maybe we put those boundaries by ourselves, or maybe the society does. I don't know which one is it. But I think there is a boundary which questions, what I'm going to say now. Is it what's expected of me as a man, specifically as a black man, to share that feeling at this point does it change anything? Do people want to hear that?
Yeah.
And if I feel that they don't want to hear it, it's not expected of me to say it, then I'd rather not say it. And have those conversations among ourselves as guys, which don't really go far, because then we share on how we feel, but we're not changing anything on our relationships and how we relate with
Yeah.
we only share that with Uzulu, and Uzulu seeing and we good, give you advice, and we good, we laugh about it, and pretend everything is okay. Like, but when it's time to share that again, the same experience would happen, you'd rather not say.
Yeah.
For instance, I've constantly had arguments, not really arguments, but conflicts with my sister, and sometimes the conflicts I have, I feel as though if I could share like how I feel about this, it would escalate to something else. And deep down I know that like I'm in no wrong at this point. If I could tell you how I feel about what you're doing and what's really happening, that could cause a fight. And now for me to avoid that conflict, I'd rather not have that conversation and pretend as if I might be on at this point. So I think the expectation, what's expected of you, and what's acceptable to come out of you as a black man is the boundary between men having to be able to share how they feel. And that's me, I'm not speaking for
Hey, bro, I think for me, ne, just to keep it small or short, rather, it has to do with how you were raised. It has to do with how you were raised, because if you look at the now generation, they are very outspoken. They are very vulnerable people that they are not, they don't care to share how they feel, whether you like it or not. There was a series on TikTok of kids that were sharing threads about their mothers and how they are raising them. And you would find that these are the things as a kid growing up you endured because you thought this is how it should be. And you'd find now these kids are being rebellious. They're like, no Bantu, you're not gonna tell me that I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do this because this is the time now. Yeah, but so I feel like with time, change happens, and sometimes it's good change, sometimes it's like it's bad change. But also then the relationships, they do a lot of damage with that, because you would find that if you are sharing and your girlfriend will be like, yeah, wena ulibona ungixolela ngeefeelings zakho, ubani bani ugqitya ubanjwa wabethathe ihasi endaweni ethini, and when are you here telling me about your feelings? I'm gonna listen to your feelings. But then it also comes back to you as the person that is being told that. If you're a self-aware man, and that's the unfortunate thing, that not all of us are already there. You feel me? It will take a lot it will take a lot of time and energy and resources for a majority of men to understand how to love themselves. So the minute you tap into that zone, then you understand, this thing is not good for me. And if something is not good for you, you go. But I think that will be our conversation for the next pod.
Thank you, Machita, man. I think we've spoke about it a lot, and I feel like some of the things that we spoke on, I think we need to. There are things that I feel like we can still, speak more of and more about, but I think it has been a good, conversation, and I want, us and everyone out there to understand that we also sitting here are not perfect men. We still have things that we want to improve on ourselves. But one thing I can say, Machita, and to everyone else, is that Siseka again, and we only got us to take ourselves out of that. So I think having these conversations and being honest with one another when we discuss stuff, and be real Yeah, well, and speak about uncomfortable things. I think that's where growth, and the learning and unlearning will take place. So thank you very much, Machita. Until we see one another on the next one, it has been beautiful.
Inner gen speak truth. Real pain, real truth. Stand strong, stay ten. Healing boys into men. From the dark we rise. No fear in our eyes. Lost boys find hope. Now we learn how to cope.